vaults. It's fairly simple this week. Everyone's going to do the running in place with the resistance band around the waist. It's going to be tied to one of the bar poles, and they basically just step inside and it'll be around their waist, and they're going to try and run away from the pole as fast as they can. So it's like resistance running without you having to hold the band for them. Then they're going to do pushing blocks against the wall for beginner. So they stand with their hands flat against the wall, and all they're going to do is push themselves away from the wall by only using their wrist. So trying not to get away from the wall first and then push. So only go as far as them pushing their wrists will go. So they're just going to push their body away from the wall with their wrists, because a lot of kids, when they block, they don't use their wrists. Even mine don't, and it helps tremendously. So the intermediate's going to do the exact same thing, but they're going to pull their arms to their ears. So they're going to block off, try and get their arms to their ears, and come back to the wall. This one, they're going to have to almost really extend first before they bring their arms back. Otherwise, they may not have enough time to. Also, the further your feet are away from, so if I'm standing like this, you're hardly going to have to push at all. If my arms are out like this, so try and really get an angle going, so when you push, you actually they have to come away from the wall, and their wrists are going to get stronger instead of just standing there at a 90-degree angle. Advanced is going to do handstand shoulder shrugs against the wall for that station. On the table, we're going to do donkey kicks on the table this time. So the mini tramp will be in front of the table. Advanced will go the exact same thing. Advanced should be able to go all the way up to handstand. Intermediate should be above horizontal, and beginner should be at horizontal, just for reference. Then next one they're going to do is two 8-incher stations. So normally we only have one, but this time we're going to have two. So there will be a springboard and two 8-inchers. In beginner, they're just going to start standing on the springboard with their arms up. They're going to swing their arms and straight jump up onto both of those 8-inchers with trying to not bend their legs. Intermediate will then they're going to run and straight jump onto those two 8-inchers, and then if they need to, have them take a couple steps back, because after they run and jump up onto those two 8-inchers, they will kick to a handstand and flat back on the mat. So you don't want like their legs to fly off the end of the mat. So just make sure that they have enough room and back up if need be on the mat to then kick over and fall to their back. And then advanced will do run handstand flat back onto the two 8-inchers, which is going to teach them the amount of heel drive that's necessary to go on different surfaces. So that one they can't heel drive too much, because they'll end up, hardly even hitting their hands. And it'll also teach them too that, they can't pike down, because if you pike down going down, the likelihood of your arms bending is a lot more, and you may kind of roll out of it rather than stay flat. So then next, for the kind of conditioning station, they're going to do weighted standing shoulder shrugs with a 5-pound. So they're going to stand belly facing the wall and their armpits facing the wall. That way they have to be a straight line, nose to the wall, and they're just going to hold the weight like this above their head and shrug while their nose is touching the wall. Intermediates are going to do the same thing. Advanced is going to do standing shoulder shrugs, so away from the wall, and both arms will be by their ears, and they're going to shrug that way. And then last one for beginner and intermediate, they're going to do the band arm hurdles that we always do. They seem to work really well, especially for the kids that don't normally grasp that concept too easy of how to bring your arms all the way behind you and then back forward in a full circle when they add the leg part. So for advanced, you're going to do hurdle straight jumps backward. So you shouldn't use anything with the band. But for beginner and intermediate, you're going to do jump 1 foot to 2 feet for beginner. So after you do the band hurdles, once it's behind their butt, they will then drop it and jump to 2 feet because they should already be standing on 1 foot. So they should be able to get to that point. Intermediate will do jump 1 foot to 2 feet and then straight jump after. So instead of just jumping to feet together, they will then try and straight jump out of jumping their feet together. Like it's a full-blown hurdle straight jump all at one time. And like I said, advanced will hurdle straight jump backwards. So hurdle, and instead of jumping in one spot, make their jump travel backwards.